What's up, gamers? My name's Scyushi and we are back in some more Trove. I'm sorry that this video wasn't out yesterday, okay? It kind of just caught me by surprise. I was busy doing other stuff and ultimately I was really exhausted. I've been on a more of a day schedule. You guys don't care. So, PTS is open. This is the public test server. This is on PC only, but you guys should actually check it out even if you're a console player. There's actually been a lot of new updates lately. I haven't gotten anything back from my contact at Game of Go, but that's okay because we have patch notes for the next Trove patch, and then we have new info for the future of Trove and what they're planning on developing. So we'll kind of talk about that today. I don't want to go into too much detail about the entire patch per se. I'm just going to kind of skim over some stuff, but then also talk about the team letter that they ended up putting out that more so highlighted some of the changes that they want to make to Shadow Towers and stuff like that. So as of right now, the update that we've got, you notice we've got this little torch on our back, which is pretty cool. This thing actually is a banner, or coded as a banner anyway. It gives me 900 light. So there's going to be these new Leviathan bosses that you can end up finding in the Geode Topside, right? There's going to be one different Leviathan boss for U8, U9, and U10. I haven't got footage of the one of U9, but I will put footage of the one from U8 and U10. I just haven't gone to U9 enough yet. These bosses are extremely difficult. They're not intended for the average player. They're actually intended for people that can get through Ultra Shadow Towers, and I would actually say are very similar to an Ultra Shadow Tower boss, with the fact that depending on the boss that you're fighting, certain ones actually have devastating abilities. Like there's an ability that the U10 boss has where he does like a spin attack and it just one-shots you even if you have Death Defying. It's kind of the same as Daughter of the Moon's sword charge that one-shots you through Death Defying. That guy actually has that as well. The other bosses, they don't seem to have one-shot abilities, so you can kind of just farm them at your leisure. The Leviathan bosses will despawn after 15 minutes, meaning that you have 15 minutes to fight them. And I found that you have to do an average of at least 1.5 mil damage in order to kill them within that 15-minute time frame. And even then, you have to have a continuous damage output. So anything over that, you should be set for actually defeating them. And that was based on the U10 one. Yeah. So all of the bosses are going to end up having the same amount of health as far as I know. The difference being that they're all going to have a different dark stat value. So the dark stat basically acts as an armor stat, right? And then that's where the light stat that we're using is armor penetration. So the more light that you end up having equals to more damage against the enemies in the Geode Topside that are affected by this dark stat value. Now, as far as the enemies from U8, U9, and U10, you know, those guys all end up scaling their health as well as the stat value, whereas these bosses are all very similar health, but just with differing amounts of the resistance. So it pays to have a lot of light in order to actually fight the guy in U10. One of the devs was saying that the intention that they wanted was you would go to U8, kill the boss a bunch of times to get the banner, and then you would be strong enough to take the one on in U9 and then the one in U10, which I would say for an average player, yeah, that's probably what you're going to be doing. But for somebody like myself who's at the end game, you know, we can already kill the one in U9 and U10 even without the banners. But I'd still say go to U8 at the least, get the banner, and then maybe skip up to U10. So the difference is that the banners that you end up getting out of these guys are going to differ in the stats that they end up giving you. So, oh, I actually had one of mine already delete. So when you kill these Leviathans, they'll end up giving you what the game calls a torch. This is this backpack that I have on my character, which is, you know, it goes in your banner slot, right? So they're going to end up giving you different light values based on the torch that drops from each of the different bosses respectively. And then those torches will despawn after 1 day. So on the daily reset, they're going to despawn. It's not you get it just before the daily reset, you have 24 hours. No, if you get one of these banners just before daily reset, you're not going to have it for very long. So it pays to do this earlier in the day. But if you end up getting 3 of a specific banner, you can craft these tempered torches, and these will end up giving you a little bit more light value while also making it so that these will respawn on the weekly reset instead of the daily. So I'd recommend that if you, I don't know, I guess you would just normally have to, it's just something we're going to have to grind on Monday. because you can't grind it the day before. You can't grind it on Sunday, because even if you ended up crafting one of these banners, it would just die on the weekly reset, right? And then the normal the normal torches would just end up deleting on the daily reset, so it didn't matter. But either way, that's how that ends up working. They're pretty cool, and the biggest thing about these bosses, you're sitting there going, why would I fight these just for a little bit of extra light? No, no, no. The reason you're gonna fight these guys is because U8 normally only drops Crystal 1, and then U9 drops Crystal 1 and Crystal 2, and then U10 drops Crystal 1, 2, and 3. And as you know, Crystal 3 is extremely rare. You can get very lucky. I've seen lots of you guys get really, really lucky where you get a Crystal 3 right away, but I guarantee you, if you're grinding a whole bunch of Crystal 3s for all your classes, you're going to see just how annoying it is. It takes maybe like 5 to 16 hours average in order to end up getting a Crystal 3. That's just based on what I've gotten, although faces and hats seem to be a lot more common than the weapons themselves. But here's the thing, folks. These Leviathan bosses can drop Crystal 3 in all of the Geode Topside Uber difficulties, meaning that people that are in U8 that can't handle U10 do have a chance of getting Crystal 3 just from defeating the Leviathan. Now, it's way too early to tell if defeating these Leviathans and farming them is going to be more effective than just grinding normal dungeons, especially because this patch is also going to change it so that 5-star dungeons are a lot more common in Geode Topside. So more dungeons means more chance of getting Crystal, as opposed to defeating a Leviathan is going to have a higher percent value to drop Crystal, but you're fighting a lot less of them. But then on top of that, you're going to end up getting the banner, which is going to be very nice as well. And then on top of that, the last thing that you get out of the Leviathans is if you're the top, I think you gotta be top 8 for the day of Leviathan kills, you'll end up getting what's called an ego potion. So I'm gonna use this right here, actually. What? So it makes your head gigantic. Unfortunately, it only seems to last like a minute. Oh god, I gotta act quick. I wanted to see if it works on Draco. Yes, it does. But does it work when we use a duplication pot? Oh my gosh, it works with a decoy pot. Oh, dude. And then I gotta see if it works with our ult. I gotta see if it works with our ult before we end up using it. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. This thing only lasts like a minute, which is actually stupid. It should really last like a day or something, because that's kind of disgusting. Oh my gosh. It works on his top half of his jaw, because the bottom half of his jaw isn't coded as his head. That's actually just an added part of his body. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, look at that. That's so cool, dude. That's kind of worth it, but I wish that it would last the entire day, because it only goes to 8 people anyways. It really should last 24 hours or until the daily reset, because otherwise, look at that. It's already done, man. That's so lame. Now I look so lame and normal. I love big head mode. That's like so dope. But it's like, what's the point, man, if it only lasts like a few seconds? That's too bad, but that's absolutely awesome that they added something like that. So it's an ego potion that makes you have big brain, right? Then on top of that, the biggest change, even over the Leviathans, I guess I should mention, unfortunately, the Leviathans are still under the same code. Like, the entire game is like this, where only 8 people around can end up getting a drop. So if you have more than 8 people killing that Leviathan, that means that you have a chance of not actually getting a drop because your drop went to another player. It's unfortunate, but that's just Trove's engine, so I don't think that they can ever end up changing something like that, which is disappointing, because I feel that if they could change that, it would be really, really helpful to kind of push people actually playing as a community instead of playing in small burst groups to try and defeat the Leviathans as much as possible, right? But either way, the Leviathans are awesome. They're really, really epic battles. You know, it's really cool. You'll go and find them just in a biome that you'll see very, very obviously on the map in the Geode Topside. They're not in any of the Uber worlds. I wonder whether or not these guys, the Leviathans, were already in the game's code back when Trine Worlds was in charge, because they were actually planning on adding new Rampage endgame bosses to the Geode Topside. So maybe that's where the Leviathans came in. But regardless of that, Gamago has actually done a great job with this update. Not even because of the Leviathans. The Leviathans are just kind of the new cool thing, right? Like, they're really, really awesome and epic battles and don't end up working under the same constraints as Rampage bosses. But the big, big change of this update is actually the change to quests and Adventurine. So Adventurine has been completely rebalanced. It's obliterated those disgusting 10k farms that you freaks have been doing. I know lots of people are going to be frustrated about that, but you don't gotta be, because it actually takes a lot less time to complete the daily amount of Adventurine farming, and you're going to end up getting that much more Adventurine. It's pretty ridiculous, because these guys, you can basically complete their quests seemingly over and over, actually, and they're going to give you 350 Adventurine a pop over and over and over again. I actually didn't know that these guys were repeatable, because any of the other NPCs in the other biomes, like let me just swap into a Cursed Vale right here. It's kind of weird. These are going to be like adventure quests, whereas those are geode quests, I guess. So you'll end up accepting quests from these guys, but per biome, you can only do one of their quests per day. Okay, now that said, the water world and the air world seem to spawn two different NPCs. There's the one that's going to spawn at the hub, and then as you go out into the world and explore, you're going to find other outposts. As you can see to the bottom right of me, there's another one there, and in the air and water world respectively, those would be different NPCs that give you different quests. Whereas something like this, you know, we've got this same clear cursed skull pile. If I went to the bottom right, it would be the exact same outpost with the exact same guy. So that's already a daily quest that I have utterly completed, right? But then we've got outpost merchants right here, and these guys can not only sell you Adventurine Strongbox keys, but they'll actually sell you bombs, which is pretty cool. Adventurer's Lunchbox, which these can contain snacks that will end up boosting your stats. So let's actually buy one of these right here, just because I don't know what these actually drop. So a butter and jam sandwich. That gives you 50 Lasermancy. That's actually not bad. It only lasts 30 minutes though, so that's kind of disgusting. But anyways, these quests are going to vary from completing dungeons to mining ore. Generally speaking, I would say that, you know, I don't know what it is right now, but there's like certain quests, like the candy biome, for example, has you getting Formicite. Whereas one of the other one of the era biomes has you gathering Shapestone, another one has you gathering Infinium. So I'd recommend that as we end up finding which of these characters ends up giving us each of the specific quests, you go and grab a handful of the quests that are all very similar, so you can get them all done in one go, instead of just going from one biome to another, to another, to another, because it pays to end up getting all the ore done in one sitting, rather than I'm just going to farm for Formicite, then I'm going to go for Infinium, then I'm going to go for Shapestone, instead of just doing them all at once, right? But the biggest thing that you're probably sitting here wondering is the Adventurine Strongbox keys. So these are because as you complete these guys' quests, and remember there's a limited amount of these that you can end up doing per day, as you end up completing their quest, you have a chance of getting a locked Adventurine Strongbox. And these are awesome because you have to use a key in order to open them. So you have to farm Adventurine. But then on top of that, these can drop, I think they've got one mount, 4 new allies that you can get out of it. One of which gives you the dark armor value stat. I don't know how strong that actually makes us. I don't know if it actually makes us resistant to enemies in Geode Topside, because the light stat value is right here under my face cam, but the dark stat value is not actually coded on our characters. So I'm really, really curious to see what that ally is going to do. I'll let you guys know as it develops, because I don't have any of that stuff yet. I'm trying to get the devs to hook me up with everything on the test server so I can show you guys it in a video, because the biggest thing you can get out of the strong boxes is there is a costume for every class in the game, and these are awesome modded costumes. You guys remember a couple months back I was using the fire costume for the Vanguard that was called the Ignis Draco Lich? That costume's added to the game, on top of like a whole bunch of really, really awesome modded costumes. At least we get one costume per character, which is great. And on top of that, very, very rarely you'll get a tradable version of these costumes. Cool, right? And there's no pay to win, even though the store's broken right now on the test server for me. There's no pay to win way to get any of these boxes or get any of these costumes or anything. It's just completely free. Awesome, right? They even added a new store item, a new store pack, and a new store item that, as far as I know, you actually can buy that with credits. So again, another free-to-play thing, which is going to be these disgusting things, the level 25 booster. As far as I know, with the store pack, you're only going to be able to buy it once. Maybe it's not repeatable. time will tell. I'll let you guys know when it goes onto the live server. But the point is that they're going to end up giving you a coin that gives you level 25. And incidentally, you also at level 25 of any character are going to end up getting a class gem key. That's why it's kind of broken right now, and we're just getting constant class gem keys. But the point is that when you get any character level 25 now, you're going to get a class gem key. So you'll be able to get their key or get their class gem like immediately, even if you have to grind for more class gem keys just so that you can get a better gem type or just a better generation on your class gem. At least now everyone has the opportunity of just getting the class gem right away, which is awesome. So there is a lot of other very subtle changes and a lot of big like these. There's so many small changes that affect the game in a really big way. And I mean, Game Ago's just killing it, you know, because this is the first big update that we've seen since Game Ago has taken charge, and they've already done things that Tryon would never do. You know, Tryon Worlds had a bad habit of, you know, they would never fix something that was already added to the game. As far as they're concerned, it was already done. And Game Ago has also put out a team letter, or not necessarily Game Ago, but the devs that we've got running Trove right now are just way better, because they actually put out a team letter that was also talking about the fact that they want to change shadow towers. And I'm actually really happy about this. We don't have too much news on it yet. They're calling it delving, which has me really excited. I'm really hoping that what they're going to do with the shadow towers is make them operate more like the geode caves. So it would just be one giant map where you would go deeper and deeper and deeper until you end up fighting the boss down at the bottom. I think that would be awesome, because the solution that they're trying to fix is that every time you end up opening a shadow tower portal, it generates 4 different worlds. So that's the 3 rooms before the boss and then the boss room itself. And with it generating all of those rooms based on the amount of people that are generating, you know, opening shadow tower portals, it means that the servers are lagging. That's why on Monday, you know, we see the servers just kind of crunch down and crunch down. They want to fix that. So that's where I personally would see if it would just generate one single room, we could go into it and then just go deeper and deeper, or maybe it would just generate so long as somebody goes into the portal rather than just opening the portal. Either way, hopefully they're going to end up finding some type of a solution. Now, one big unfortunate thing that I gotta tell you guys is console players, you guys are more than likely only going to see 2 major Trove updates a year. Now, before you sit there and pull out your hair, you know, that, all things considered, is not that bad. Because you got to think, you guys haven't really been getting that many updates anyways. Obviously, if there's like a big game-breaking bug and they got to hotfix something or just add a patch to it, obviously they'll probably end up doing that for the console versions. But what they're planning to do is have a bunch of updates come out for Trove on PC in the form of big updates like this, and then just patches that just add, you know, small additional content. Patches that just fix some of the current parameters that are already in the game, and then hot fixes. And what they're going to do for console players is they're going to bundle all these fixes and all the patches and all the new content all into one big mega update, and then you guys are going to get those at the least twice a year. That's what their plan is. And I'd rather have the consistency, in all honesty, and I'm not just saying this because I'm maining PC or anything like that. I personally would rather have the consistency of 2 major updates for console within the year, rather than just sitting here guessing whether or not you're going to get anything, right? Because, I mean, console has just kind of been up and down with all of that. And of course it means that, you know, PC players are going to get all this stuff a lot earlier, which obviously that always happens, but I still think that this is actually really a good update and actually worth waiting for, because this is actually a really good one. The amount of things that they changed with the Adventurine is crazy. I haven't opened these boxes yet because I'm saving that for another video, but for the most part, you know, it's a really good update. It really is. Like, I'm actually very pleasantly surprised. The more that I read the patch notes, the more I see some awesome stuff that's being added. And I will leave a link to the patch notes in the description of this video in case you guys want to check it out for yourselves. But if you're too lazy and you don't want to read, you know, don't worry, because I'll end up having a patch notes video come out probably maybe tomorrow. We'll see, because I do gotta have some videos talking about each of the Leviathan bosses. I gotta have another video focusing on the new questing, and I gotta have more videos as soon as the devs hook me up, featuring all the costumes and mounts and all the new stuff. And I really want to mess with that ally that gives us the dark stat value, because I'm just very curious about that. But either way, I'm very excited that not only did they end up showing this off, because I mean, we still got the Shadow's Eve event coming around as well. So is this going to hit before Shadow's Eve, or is this an update that's planned for later in the year? I don't know. Unfortunately, the live servers, they might be online now when I upload this video to you guys, but as of the time that I'm recording this, the live servers are actually still offline. Don't worry, okay? I do want to let you guys know, and I do want to stress enough. I know that there's lots of you guys that are complaining about this. This is standard, okay? Not only did this happen with Trove all the time, like they always give an estimated time when the servers are going to come back online. It's always wrong. They always have to go overtime. But the big reason why they're going overtime now is because they are migrating their physical servers of the game. And that is something that, in all honesty, it's not intended. Like, servers are supposed to be stationary. You're not supposed to move them, especially when it's for a massive multiplayer online game, regardless of the amount of players that are on this game. That doesn't matter. That would be like if Blizzard was moving everything into a new building. There's going to be complications. On top of that, you know, they're giving us the compensation package. They're going to be giving us a lot more compensation. They haven't added it to their forum post or anything like that, but I'm more than likely expecting them to give us like a dragon effigy and stuff. If they don't give us a dragon effigy, that's okay, but they definitely got to give us a lot of stuff to compensate for this if they want to, you know, kind of bring the players back instead of everyone just getting so frustrated and complaining all the time. But I do want to stress and say to you guys that despite the fact that so many people still have such a negative outlook with this game, I'm still constantly trying to push the fact that Tryon Worlds is not in charge of this game anymore. We can't look at Trove the same way that we have for years. Myself included, I am still very strongly critical about this game because I've played it for so long, but I'm very, very optimistic now that we've got a change of the guards. We've got new people in charge, so we have to wait to see what they do before we end up critiquing and judging what they're actually doing with the game. And it's like, oh, you know, Trove is just all pay to win. So far, no. So far, it's actually been really, really good since Game Ago's been in charge, because we got that Sweet 16 pack, which, yeah, that's pay to win, but it's a great value. And then this entire update, there's not really anything that's pay to win about it. It's just all adventuring, which is something that I am very strongly, big thumbs up for them on that one. Thank you so much for watching. Very much appreciate it. Smash like, hit subscribe. There's going to be lots of new stuff talking about this Leviathan update. Have yourselves a great day. If you want to support me, you can always buy some of the merch. We do have official hats. This is a sticker that I threw on my hat. I've ordered my new hat, but it always takes a while before they end up getting to me. And then if you're new to Trove, you can use the sign up link in the description. And then when you sign up to Trove and buy anything out of the store, I'll end up making a percentage of that, which is absolutely awesome. Thanks so much for watching though, guys. Really appreciate it. Have yourselves a great day. Sign on and stay epic.